Hey, hey, hey. Hey there, we are live. I'm just doing some checks. And welcome to our Magic Mind Call number 1. How are we all? Let me just check. I just need to check in the chat. We're just going to do some checks first. Give you a chance to jump in. Let me just jump into the comments. So, if you're here, if you can see me and hear me, then please type in. What you'll see is a little comment box, a little chat box. Could you please type in and let me know that you're here and that you can see me and hear me okay? I just need to check that my audio is okay and that you can see me okay. Hey Leon, how are you? Good, sound is okay and you can see me. I always like to check before I start because I don't want to get halfway through and then realize that my sound isn't on. And then I got a load of messages. I get into it and I get a load of messages on my phone telling me, I can't hear you. Okay, so I'm on. Good. So some of you, when you type into the chat, some of you I can see have already accepted with StreamYard. That's who we stream through when we go live. You've already accepted with StreamYard, so I can see your name. So for example, this is how I see it. So one of our coaches, Carla, I can see her name here. She said hello in the comments and I can see who it is. Now others, if you don't give me permission to Facebook, you'll come up as this, for example, Facebook user, hello, but I don't know who it is. So if you ask any questions along the way, just bear in mind, if you've not given StreamYard permission, I won't know your name. So, which is fine, you can stay neutral and I won't know who you are. But if you would like to know, then in the future when we're doing the live calls, you would just give the StreamYard permission. It just takes 2 seconds and it's basically just permission to show your name so I can see who it is that's commenting. Okay. And I like this one, whoever this is. Hello. Okay, so there's a lot of, so hi, Christine. Hi, Angela. Natalie, hello, good to see you. Hi, Lisa. Carly. A lot of Facebook users. Okay, so welcome, guys. You can see me okay, great. So I just want to tell you a little bit about what to expect and what we're going to be doing over these 5 days. I'm super excited to have you here. So who is this for? You're probably here because either you know me anyway, you've done some training with me and you're coming back for some inspiration, or just some, you just love getting the knowledge, you love the mindset stuff, you know who I am, so you're back for more. Brilliant, welcome, love it. It might be that you live locally, you might be a client of Ego, or you have heard of Ego or myself or whatever it is, and you're local and you're jumping on to find out more. It might be that I don't know you, you've never heard of me, but there's something in you that's made you come in here, as in looking for more knowledge to do with the mindset. Somewhere deep down, you know that there's more to life than the results that you're getting now. Or you're in a place that the mindset isn't so strong right now and you want this challenge to kind of kickstart you to get you to start getting into a better mindful place. So either way, you're all welcome. I know some people have brought their families, their friends, their children. So I'm keeping this 5-day challenge as simple as I possibly can. I do other courses that go more deep into it, but I want to keep this as a simple starting point. And it's really sharing my 5 tools that you can use every single day to start to put new habits into your life to help improve your mindset and your mental health. And it's never been as important as it is right now. We know at the time of recording this and at the time of saying this today, or if you're watching it on record, we are in 2020 in the toughest time. Some of you that are on right now will have lost their businesses, some will have closed their businesses, some will have people around them that have lost their jobs. Maybe that's you. Some people are struggling to hold on to their businesses. Some are locked down again. There's so much going on and there's so much confusion and uncertainty. And the problem with times of uncertainty is it really affects our mind. It really affects our mind, because what happens is we go into that state of fear. So when we're uncertain and we go into that state of fear, when we're scared, things start happening in our body that get us ready to fight or flight. Now, that was okay way back in the saber-toothed tiger days, when we had to get ready to run from some, danger every single day, literally. So what happens is, all the good stuff, all the energy goes to the cells in the arms and the legs, getting us to run, getting us ready to run away from that danger. But the problem with that is, then what would happen is, once we've had that rush of all these adrenaline, all these hormones that make us get ready to run, and our arms and legs run really fast, it takes all the good stuff away from the parts of our body that needs the nourishment. So it takes it away from the other functions and the organs of the body. So if we are living in a state of fear all the time, or regularly, like a lot of people are, and especially during these times, in uncertainty and stress, the functions of our body are not functioning properly. Hence why the environment of our body is more vulnerable. So it's more vulnerable to ill health. It's like a catch-22 situation. We're uncertain, we're fearful, but when we're fearful, we're actually opening ourselves up to, it's almost like opening the defenses, if you like. We're opening the defenses for, the invaders to come in, for the viruses to come in. We're opening our defense walls because we're living in a state of perpetual fear, if you can see it like that. I'm trying to make this sound as simple as possible, in case, there's children, etc., that are on here and watching this now as well. So we don't want to be living in a state of uncertainty and fear. We want to be living in a state of calm as much as we possibly can. And, it's very difficult because things show up in our lives and we react to them. So we need to learn to harness the power of our mind to try and get ourselves into a more calmer state. There's so much to learn about mindset, and we only have 5 days, and I can't teach everything, but I just want to teach as much as I possibly can to give you tools that you at least get why this is so important right now. This is so important right now because we become what we think about. We are, you may have heard that saying, you are what you think. And, this isn't anything new to think this. This is, even though science is proving this more and more right now, this isn't anything new. I mean, if you look at books, you may have heard of books like As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, or Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, The Science of Getting Rich, Wallace D. Wattles, all these kind of books. Some of these were written over 100 years ago, but it goes even further way beyond that. But it's just that more and more sciences this is becoming more proven now. As simple as that. I'm not going to get into the science of it. If you want that, you can go and research that for yourself. I just want to get into the simple tactics that you can start to put into your everyday life to help you harness the power of the mind, to start to attract better things into your life, and to be able to navigate through these difficult times stronger and come out of it stronger on the other side. In any situation like this, it's up to us how we perceive it. In life, as it shows up, the stuff that shows up in our life, we can't control. So we can't control what's going on out there in the world right now at the moment. We can't control what other people say, do and think, etc. But what we can keep control of, what we can master, is us. And how we think and how we perceive it, and where we put our energy to, and where we choose to put our energy to. Because here's the thing. Even those of you that are young watching this, you may have already had this in school, that everything is energy, and we're all made up of energy. So this laptop, your phones, everything is energy. We are energy. And as such, all energy vibrates at a frequency, which means we vibrate at a frequency. Each one of us vibrates at a different frequency depending on our energy level. So if we are energy And the other thing is, like energy attracts like energy. So imagine this little energy that's like little magnets. So as we send out our vibration and energy, it's like little magnets, and it goes out and it attracts more energy on the same vibration. Like attracts like. So for example, if we're thinking negative thoughts, because thoughts are energy as well. So if we're thinking negative thoughts, this affects the state of our body, or if we're fearful, etc. So these negative thoughts affects every fiber, every part of our body, every part of our being, and our cells in our body, and it affects the level of our vibration, the frequency that we send out. Okay, and whatever frequency we're sending out, we're attracting more of that to ourselves. So sending out negative thoughts, we're attracting more negative thoughts. As soon as we start thinking, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, you start to think in a negative train of thought, and then all of a sudden it attracts another negative thought, and another negative thought, and another, and another, and another, because like attracts like, until we break the pattern, something happens, we get broken out of it, or we choose to turn it around and start to go, oh, I don't like where this is going. This is getting me into a lower vibration and a lower energy state. I want to turn this thought around. Let me think of something that I'm grateful for. Or let me think of something that's going to lift me, for example. So, and it's not easy harnessing the power of our minds, or everybody would be doing it, and everybody would be on this top high vibration all the time, thinking of all the things that they're grateful in life for every single day, and attracting all the highest vibration to themselves constantly, and living their dream life, and being able to pass those negative thoughts past us with ease. But it doesn't work like that for most, because that's the way humans are. We often think, what if negative, rather than what if positive. We have so many thoughts in a day, and many of them are negative. Most of them are negative, until we learn to harness the power of our mind and spin it around. So are you with me so far, guys? Are you with me so far? Is this making sense? So pop into the comments, give us some feedback. Is this making sense to you? Have you done some mindset work before? Did you notice a difference? And then all of a sudden, life got in the way. Emotions got in the way, people got in the way, situations, world crises got in the way, and then all of a sudden, everything started to drop again. And then before you know it, you find yourself in that deep, dark place again. Is this happening to you, or has this happened to you in the past? It's certainly happened to me before. So who am I, and why are you listening to me? So I'm not going to go into my full story. Inside the announcements, inside this group, I have posted a link to my story. It's in there somewhere. And it's a story, I'm telling it on stage, and it's a story of me as a business owner and as a salon owner, how I found myself at rock bottom. If you want to know more sort of details of the story, you can go and watch that. It's about 15 minutes long. But basically, I'm Caroline Sanderson, and I have a salon owner. I have a salon in Inverness that I own, and I also own a training and coaching academy. But back in 2009, during the last recession, I found myself at rock bottom, almost closing my salon doors, going through a divorce, a messy divorce, becoming a single mother. I was pregnant, about to become a single mother to 3 children. I've suffered, the list goes on. Go and listen to the story, and you'll hear about my rock bottom moments. But sometimes it takes us to get to those rock bottom moments to find the strength to come back fighting, if you like, to come back with that, no, I'm not giving up. I'm going to do what needs to be done to turn this around. I've got children relying on me, that no one else is going to look after them. I have to turn this around. I have a team relying on me. I am relying on me. I have a family relying on me. I have to turn this around. But why do we leave it till it gets to that stage before we realize the power that we actually have in us? When we realize the power that this has over us, we go through life too often as passengers, with our limiting beliefs that were implanted there as we were, from when we were born up till 7. And we're going around with these limiting subconscious beliefs, not being able to manage or master our emotions, not being able to harness the power of our mind, reacting to everything that happens around us, feeling like a victim, all of those things, blaming other people, shaming ourselves, turning that shame on ourselves, or getting angry and blaming it's everyone else's fault, it's the government's fault, it's their fault, this fault. We have to learn that everything comes back to us. And we have the power to turn it around, no matter what situation is going on in the world. I watched an inspirational video yesterday. A young man with one arm, one finger on one arm, no legs, and no arm here. And he was a wrestler, and he's a speaker, and he's an inspiration. And he says how lucky he is that he can still move. He's not confined. He can still go out. He can travel. He can do things. He's seeing the gratitude in the situation that he is in. That is pure self-empowerment. It is. We have a choice. We have a choice every day of the actions that we take and whether we're going to be a victim of what's going on around us or whether we are going to take control of what's going on within us and learn to master our thoughts and also to stop punishing ourselves for things that happened to us when we were like, that we're not even aware of. You know, something happened to us when we were 2 or 3 years old. Half the time we don't even know. Sometimes we do. Some of us have had, you know, some people have had traumatic, you know, things that have happened in their past, in their lives. But some of us, it's things that have made us feel unloved or judged or whatever it is, some negative emotion that is stuck in our mind and stuck in our memory and implanted in our subconscious, that we are living our lives today still in fear of that happening again, because the brain, your brain is always trying to protect you. Always trying to protect you. So if something happened when you were a child, for example, that made you feel bad and it was very uncomfortable, the brain is going to try and keep you away from ever going into that situation again. Let me give you a little example. When I was about 4 years old in my class P1, and I started when I was 4, and it was very early on in the beginning when we started, and the teacher had said, now this is the girls' toilets and this is the boys' toilets, and no boys are allowed to go in that toilet and you're not allowed to go in there, and if everybody does, you must tell your teacher, and if anyone does anything wrong, you must tell your teacher. You know, and this was the beginning, your first couple of days or first week in school. And in the girls' toilets, this boy came in. He was a bit of a rebel. He was, you know, the bad boy. And then he came to the toilets and pushing the girls around, whatever he was doing. So all the girls decided, we're going to tell the teacher. So when we got to the class, it was like, okay, we're going to tell the teacher. And I was the brave one that put my hand up and said, just to let you know that, you know, the boy was in the toilet. And the teacher turned around and he denied it. And the teacher turned around and asked the girls, is this true? And me thinking that, you know, I'm doing the right thing and everybody was going to back me up. Everyone just put their head down and shook and nobody spoke up, and I got into trouble. And I remember the feeling of the teacher telling me off for telling tales, even though I'd been told. Now imagine a little 4-year-old mind. I was told by this person in authority that I had to tell. And I'm thinking I'm doing the right thing. And then I'm feeling, and I remember the feeling of, you know, this crouched down feeling and everybody staring at me, and the feeling just wanting to sink into the ground and wanting to disappear. And from then on in, I don't know if that was the day it happened, but from then on in, I was probably the quietest person, or one of the quietest people, apart from when you knew me and we were friends. But I was very, very quiet in school, always scared of speaking up. Wouldn't have dreamt that I would ever be doing something like this in the future. Terrified. I mean, absolutely terrified of public speaking. I mean, terrified. I was asked to speak at an event with 350 people back in 2014. And I said yes, because I knew I wanted to get over this. And I thought, well, the way of doing it, getting over it, is just do it. And I read this thing somewhere, the more you do something, repetition, then it'll get easier and it'll get better. So I'm just going to do it. So I made the decision to do it, but I was absolutely petrified. I went to Toastmasters. That's where you learn to go and kind of public speak a little bit. And I was terrified there every week. It didn't get any better. And then when I did the talk, there was one point on the stage where it just overwhelmed me, the fear, the dry mouth, everything overwhelmed me. And for a split second, I thought, run. This was the fight and flight thing that I said that was kicking in. All the hormones thinking you're in danger, you're in danger. You know, I had to either stay and fight or I had to run. And for a moment in my head, run, Caroline, just say you can't do it. Get off the stage. You can't do it. And I just said, I remember stepping back for a second. I just said, can you just give me a second? I took a step back. And in that split second, this going on in my head, the fight kicked in. It absolutely kicked in. I got so mad with myself that I even considered running. And I took that step forward and I spoke up. And that day did not cure my public speaking, by the way. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional, but that did not cure my public speaking. The reason I'm getting, I guess, give me a second. The reason I'm getting emotional is not because it didn't cure my public speaking or anything like that. And it's not that I'm scared of public speaking now. Last year, I did 30 events and I became an international speaker because I wanted to master this fear that was inside me. The reason I guess I feel emotional is because I'm connecting to you guys right now and I'm thinking, do you have anything like that that's holding you back? Because that feeling of when you break through it, I can't explain what that is like. It is, well, obviously it's getting me emotional. It is empowering. And like I say, that led me to last year. I did 30 events across and schools and education across the UK. I did one in San Diego, in Florida. And it's just when you step into your own power, you just, there's nothing, there's nothing that feels like it, that you've done that. And the reason I did it, and I would say my last live big event that I did was in January this year. And it was the biggest event we did. I think there was about 130, 40 people there. It was the biggest one we did. And I still was terrified before going on the stage. It's just how it is, because you care and the adrenaline and you're still terrified, but I'll still do it. And the reason that I did it last year was my mission. I just had a mission of knowing how it felt to be held back all those years as a child and to live in fear and not to step into what I'm truly capable of. And to keep thinking that I wasn't good enough, or that can't happen to someone like me in Inverness, a small town in the Highlands of Scotland. Not thinking nobody special comes from up here where we are, and just all these limiting beliefs that had, come into my mind. But to realize that you can stand into your own brilliance, what I did and how I got over it was, this isn't about me. I need other people to realize that they can step into their brilliance too. So every time before I would go on the stage, even though I'd still be nervous, etc., I just thought of everyone else. I have to do this, to share this. I have to let them know that they can step into that there's more, that they can step into their brilliance too, that they can do way more than they're doing now. I can achieve way more than I am achieving right now. Way more. I'm still just working my way up step by step by step. Like I say, last year became an international speaker. That was, to think years ago that I would have that in my bio is insane. And then this year, I became an Amazon best-selling author, along with my partner in crime, along with Carla. So yeah, anything, like once you start to use this, there's so much potential that you can step into. And that's really what I want to share with you today. So how's this going to work? So there's 5 calls, okay? There's 5 calls, and this is the first one. And if you think of the word magic, that's why we're calling it our magic mind. each magic being an acronym, so each call will have a letter and a lesson attached to that letter. And each day, what I want you to do, so this is day number 1. So we are going to be talking about M in magic. So M, and we're going to be talking about meditation. And what we're going to do is each day, what I ask you to do is, so because we're doing the meditation today, you will do the meditation for 5 days. Tomorrow, we go into the next lesson and you'll continue to do the meditation, but you're going to add another step in tomorrow and do that for the next 4 days along with the meditation. And then in day 3, another one will be added. And so you will be doing 3 things till by day 5, you will be implementing 5 mind mastering techniques into your daily routine. Now, let me explain why this is so important and what completely changed things for me and changed my mindset and beliefs and all that kind of stuff. And I'm still a work in progress, as we all are. But there's a thing called Benson's Law. And it is that, you know, to perfect something and to get better at something, to master something, is repetition. Repetition, repetition, repetition. So right now, we have things that we do repeatedly, but many of those things are not empowering us. For example, repeatedly going to the cupboard for food, or repeatedly going to the fridge, or repeatedly opening the bottle of wine, or repeatedly, you know, talking down to ourselves, or repeatedly reminding ourselves of why we can't do something instead of why we can, or repeatedly worrying, or repeatedly watching the news and absorbing stuff that makes us feel low and scared and negative. Or repeatedly, do you get what I'm saying? Not everything that we repeatedly do, repeatedly not doing exercise, repeatedly making bad choices. You know, we all do it to some extent until we get to master it. I'm still a work in progress. I've recently just lost a stone and 10% body fat, but I've still got a way to go. I'm still, you know, work in progress. It's not about perfection. It's about just going in the right direction and daily, not beating ourselves up when we don't do it, but just daily trying to be that better person and just getting rituals into our lives that are positive rituals. So even if we do fall off track in other areas at some points in our life, that we have created really good habits, really, really good rituals and habits, because when we repeatedly do something, it becomes a habit. So this is like rewiring our brain, rewiring our subconscious mind by daily positive habits. Okay, and then the more that we're doing the daily positive habits and the more our vibration is raising, remember, when we have a higher vibration, we're attracting things and experiences on that higher vibration. So opportunities come. So I'm just going to use lockdown for an example. So I used lockdown to write a book. So yes, my business, my salon was locked down, but I thought, what am I going to do with this time? I created Salon Jedi Digital Training Academy in a few weeks. It's the first and only 5-star digital training academy for salon owners that was awarded by the Good Training Guide, the first of its kind. I did that in lockdown and I wrote a book. So we have a choice, but we have to find what we want. We've got to find our direction. We've got to find what we want, and we need to understand that mindset is everything. It's the foundation of it all. Okay, so is that giving you a little bit of a good starting point? Does that make sense? So I'm going to now go into the meditation and why that's important as your first lesson. If there's any questions, please type it in the chat. And just so you know, if you do need to jump off or anything happens with the screen, remember this is recorded. It is recorded and it will go up after this call. It will go up into the units within the group. So you can watch it again if you've got cut off, or if you've had to jump off in work, or if your internet isn't any good or anything like that, you can watch it again. Okay, so any questions, any comments up until now? Can you relate to this stuff at the moment? Is there something in you deep down, you know that you're capable of more, but you find yourself making the wrong choices? You're like, why am I doing that? This isn't what I want. That's what I want. Why am I doing this? Because we have to start to retrain and reprogram our brain and rewire it for success, rewire it for self-worth. We need to start everything in our outside world and all the stuff that we attract to us, everything we see and everything that's happening to us right now in our worlds is a reflection of what's going on within us. So we need to fill ourselves up with self-worth to get ourselves on that higher vibration so we can start to vibrate at a higher level and magnetize the better stuff to us. As simple as that. So I want to get into, so this repetition, as I said, Benson's law, that's why this, after 5 days, this isn't going to change your world. But if you continue to use this stuff, this 5 things every single day until, like for 100 days, until it becomes a habit, every single day, just keep doing it every day. If you commit to that, you will see life-changing results. If you commit to it every single day, and you do the stuff that I'm about to teach you. Within 5 days, I hope that you will see a difference. Even within 5 days, I hope you will start to notice a difference. But it's not going to change your world in 5 days unless you keep it going. As in Benson's law, you try something once, people find it a little bit hard, they drop off. What Benson's law says is you do it over and over and over and over again, like anything, like a sports star, athlete, singer, anybody who's brilliant at anything. They have practiced and practiced and practiced, and they have got it wrong so many times, and then they've dropped off track, and then they've got back on. So don't beat yourself up if, there's a day that you're having a bad day. A bad day is just a bad day. Don't put too much meaning onto it that it's like, oh, that's it, I've fallen off, I can't do this again. No, just get back on. Okay, I just feel I'm overwhelmed, I can't do 5 today. Do 2. Do 1. But for these 5 days, what we're asking is commit to it. Absolutely make the choice of saying, I want to see what I'm truly capable of. I want to change my results. I'm committing to this every single day. I want to start creating new empowering habits. My mentor, so I have a mentor, John Assaraf. You may have heard of him. I work closely with him. I feature in his book called Inner Size, which is all about reprogramming in the brain. And I'm in his mastermind at the moment. I was last out there in January, out in San Diego, working personally with him. And one of the quotes that just got me, when something just sticks with you, was, in life, you either pay the price of commitment or the price of regret, or the price of discipline, let's say, the price of discipline or the price of regret. Being disciplined to give yourself 30 minutes every day to fill yourself up with empowering habits, just 30 minutes a day. Surely you're worth that. Surely, no matter how busy you are and what is going on in your life, you are worth 30 minutes a day to empower you, to fill yourself up. Then you have more to give. So you either pay the price of discipline, as in be disciplined to do this every single day, no matter if you don't feel like that. That's what discipline is, doing it even when you don't feel like it. Or you pay the price of regret. And that really got me. It was like, wow, imagine 10 years, 20 years down the line. Imagine when you're older and you look back and go, if only I had changed and done that then. And in 20 years' time, nothing has changed. 10 years' time, nothing has changed. 5 years, whatever time frame, nothing's changed, and you regret it. No, none of us know how long we've got here, so we have to make sure that we leave our mark in the best way we can. Okay? Right now, it's harder. So I'm just looking at a couple of questions before we get into the meditation. So someone's saying, right now, it's harder to stay positive due to outside influence. So now, so now is the time to take control and change your mindset and state. I'm sorry, I'm just reading this. It's going up and down, as it can be draining. Exactly, because think about it. This is your energy and your power. And if you just, even, if you're a child listening to this, a teenager listening to this, an adult listening to this, you have your own energy and power. And it will be drained. Think of it like a battery. It's like when you're watching the news, or if you are listening to people that are sending you negativity and hurt in any way. If you are exposing yourself to all the negative stuff, just imagine it's like these people being tapped into your battery. They're draining your battery and you're letting them, rather than being like, no, I'm going to, and they're taking all your energy and you have nothing left for yourself. You have to fill yourself up with that energy. And that brings me nicely into meditation. So M is for meditation. Now, I want you to think about, let's say, for example, your phone. Let's say your phone, okay? If you have your phone, it needs charged, doesn't it? This laptop needs charged. Your Xbox needs charged. Your computer, whatever it is that you have that's electrical, your TV needs charged. Your car needs fuel, etc. These things that work off energy, they need refueled. Sorry, I'm just closing something down there. So it needs refueled. So this you will go, oh, you know what it feels like when you see that little red dot come in and you're like, oh, I need to charge it. You know that feeling, I have to charge my phone. When you see that little red dot running for the charger, it needs to be filled up. It needs to have the energy. Well, we're the same as humans. We are energy. Now, where do we get our energy from? We get it from the universe, universal energy. So we need to plug into universal source energy. We need to clear the clutter of what is going on in here. This is our recharge. Yes, there's other things like getting ourselves into the right state and recharging our cells and, you know, being positive and all the mindset stuff. But meditation is one of the most important things that you can do to recharge your energy state, to be able to stay calm, especially in these times, because when we can stay calm, we have the space for solutions to come in. We have the space for the answers. We have the space for the creativities to start flowing. We have the space to fill ourselves up with love. We have that space. If we don't meditate and we don't clear all the clutter and the noise and everything that's going on in our minds, if we don't clear that, we're not recharging ourselves. Now, what happens when you don't recharge your phone? Burns out, dies, needs to, is not functional. It doesn't function. Same with your car. Okay, so yes, you can put fuel into it to make it move, but it needs to be serviced. It needs to be serviced as well. If you just keep running that car and you don't service it and you keep running it into the ground, it doesn't matter if it's got fuel in it or not, something else will go and it won't be able to function and run, whether it's got fuel in it or not. It's like we can put fuel and food into our body, but it is not going to perform the way it can perform unless you're servicing it, as in looking after your health, looking after your body, but also looking after your mind and clearing your mind. So step one is meditation. And when we meditate, it is like we are filling up our mind with this positive energy. Now, all we have to do, I used to think when people, like when I was younger, I had this limiting belief about meditation, thinking that, meditation is not for me. When I was really young, I thought, oh, is that not like a hippie thing to do, meditation? And you have to cross your legs in the lotus position and you hum and chant and insects and all that kind of stuff. However, there's all different types of meditation. It doesn't matter what type you choose, but what I realized was what works for me really simply. I have my own meditations now of how I do it. But even just simple breathing is a form of meditation. So just being relaxed, having your time out to yourself. Remember, 10 minutes, that's all I'm asking for the rest of this week for 5 days, 10 minutes. So I'm going to give you a couple of ideas of how you can do it and see what works for you. If you struggle with meditation, you can find a 10-minute meditation on YouTube. Okay, it can be just, you can find ones for more money. You can find ones letting go of positivity, dealing with anxiety, just binaural beats ones. It's just music, etc., that you just kind of switch off to. There are also, for positive energy, energizing ones, depending on what you're dealing with at the time. Ones for fear. There's all sorts of meditations out there, and the chakra meditations, etc. Just go out and find one that suits you. Just try a few. But what you could do is literally type in 10-minute chakra meditation or 10-minute meditation. You could try Jason Stevenson. He has got loads and loads. Dr. Joe Dispenza has some. They're maybe a little bit, maybe not as child friendly. They're a bit heavy, but they're out there too. There's so many. Just go onto YouTube. You can get them for free. 10-minute meditation. You pop on your headphones. Do not be disturbed for 10 minutes, and you just switch off. and you just listen to it and you follow it and you get into it. And if thoughts come into your head, just let them pass and then get back into it again. Just, reset yourself. And then a thought comes, just let it pass and then start listening again. Don't fight it. Oh, I can't do it. Another thought. Just, oh, there was a thought. Okay, let that pass. Oh, I'm back. I'm back in the zone again, listening again. Oh, there's another thought. No, I'm back in the zone again. Here I am. That's all, don't fight it when the thoughts come in. And the other one is how I very started in the beginning. What worked for me was breathing. So I would just lie down and relax or sit and relax, and I would just count my breaths. And it was as simple as that. I would count in for 3, hold for 3, out for 3, in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. In for 5, hold for 5, out for 5. And I would do that up until 10. And then I would count backwards from 10 to 9 to 8 to 7 to 6 and back down to 3 again. So, and because I was concentrating and counting the breaths, again, you're switching off all the noise and clutter in your mind, and you're also making your breathing properly. And when you are breathing, make sure you're breathing into your belly, that your belly rises as opposed to breathing with your shoulders. So breathing is so good for you as well. And especially right now where so many are having to wear masks and sometimes all day at work, is stopping and having as many breaks as you possibly can and doing your deep breathing. You need the oxygen in your cells for them to work properly and for them to be healthy. So who is up for trying some meditation? Not right now. I mean, like going away and trying it. That's enough for today. I think I've given you enough information for today. I'm happy to answer some questions for you. But really, that's step 1. So you do it today and you do it every single day. I think there is a handout in announcements, or there will be, which will have the that you can start to tick off, right? Yep, I've done it each day, of all the different things that we're going to be covering. And don't forget, if you can't make the call live, not all the calls are live, some are pre-recorded. If you can't make it live, then you can, catch up at any time. They will be inside the units or on the wall in here. I'd love you to introduce yourselves as well in the page. This stuff works better when we all get to know each other and we fully commit and get into it, rather than watching from the background or being too scared to join in. Is just fully commit to it, or even if if you're terrified of going live, why don't you go live in the group? Why don't, or record a little video or something, break through your fear a little bit, introduce yourself, do something today that is beyond your comfort zone. There's another little challenge for you. So you've got your meditation, but also do something today that's just even a tiny little bit out of your comfort zone, to get used to stretching yourself a little bit. So maybe that's introducing yourself by video in the group. Maybe it's interacting and joining in and asking a question. Maybe some people feel uncomfortable with that. Okay, or maybe it's going and doing the meditation and actually committing to these 5 days. So guys, take notes each day. Watch it again if that helps. I am just having a look to see... yeah, there's a few comments in here. Some people saying love meditation. We can post some links for meditations. We can do that. Yeah. Apple Watch has a breathing app. There'll be breathing meditations and stuff like that as well. It's finding what works for you. Like a lot of people will say to me, I've tried meditation, I find it really hard. I find it really hard to begin with. I just couldn't understand, because every time a thought came into my head, I thought, oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. But when I started to do, and how it changed for me, I'll just quickly tell you this before I go. How this changed for me was when I would hear all these mentors. I've always had these super successful mentors. Like I say, John Assaraf. I've had some of the best marketing minds in the world. At the moment, I've got the best Facebook marketer in the UK out there who's, mentors me in Facebook marketing. I have amazing mentors, and I read continuously, and I study that, the best minds in the world, and this thing would keep coming up time and time again: meditation, meditation, meditation. And especially for a busy thinker like me, I'm a busy thinker. My head gets cluttered. I'm like, oh, I've got this idea, that idea. Oh, and then all of a sudden, overwhelming clutter. I've got so much. So I have to meditate every single day. But before then, I would just get overwhelmed. It would just be like so much information. But I kept hearing them say time and time again, this meditation, 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 until eventually it's one of the last things. You know, I'd managed and mastered some other things, but it was one of the last things. And I always remember I'd started to do it. And then one day, and I'd heard someone say this to me once before as well, I remember going for a swim. And during that swim, there was a problem that I'd been mulling over, you know, some big issue, some problem that was like, I just couldn't think of the solution. I just couldn't see past this problem. Until this day, I'd gone swimming, just came to me like a bolt out of the blue. I'd been relaxing, doing the swim. But before then, I'd been meditating. I don't mean immediately before, I just mean in general, like for a few days before or whatever. And I'd been regularly doing this little bits of meditation. And I remember getting this insight of this flood of it was like the answer just came just like that. And I realized in that moment, I knew, because it happened a few times before, but I'd always gone, maybe coincidence. But that time I just knew, this is because I'm meditating. It's clearing the clutter and I'm getting the answers. And from then on, once you start to see the effect of it, you won't stop it, because you'll start to see the effects. So it doesn't matter if you're a child, you know, I can't really, you know, get my, you know, I've tried it before in the past and we have had fun with it, where I try and get them to meditate and we do, or little bits of breathing and all that. But I don't know if your children are like mine, but mine are like, when I do they just, you know, she goes, oh, this is mum. And they just take the mick out of me, you know. But there are certain things that I have been able to get them to do in the past. For example, like listening to stuff, even just getting the headphones on and listening to, you know, binaural beats or something like that, just to kind of rest and calm, take 10 minutes out, listen to this, just switch your mind off, just listen to this. And, you know, other stuff that we'll learn along the way, other little tips I've managed to get them to do. But yeah, meditation, just taking some time out. The way I see meditation, so for example, my youngest daughter is, I asked her, so what's your thing that you like to do that's not technology, that can give you the break that you get into the flow with? I don't mean flow with playing games and that kind of stuff, but something that you can do that you tap into you and your flow and creativity. And she loved to draw. So it's, you know, that's the escape, that's the meditation for her. So what is it for you, or what is it for your children? So for my youngest daughter, that's what it is. For someone else, it might be writing, and they get into the zone and they're doing their little thing. It's just taking them away from just even that, you know, that small time of, you know, it's time to chill, it's time to get into the flow and do some drawing. And I encourage her as much as I can to do some drawings for me, because I know when she's doing that, she gets into it and she gets into the flow and she's switching off from the external world and the noise, because she's just in the flow and she's just in the moment. That's a form of meditation for her. So that's something to think about as well. Okay, guys, just before we go, I just want to also note that I have a team around me within here as well that can answer questions, and they might comment and post little extra stuff. I've got Carla, who is our head coach, who you know, you'll see around within the group. And we also have Carly, the community manager, that helps with all the technical stuff and things like that as well. And we also have some of our kind of mentors, like our mentors that have gone on and done extra training with me, who are in our Mindset, Magic and Miracles training, that eventually want to become coaches, for example, with us. So they might be around and interacting and stuff like that as well, just to kind of make you feel welcome and, you know, interact and get you know, you just get into this stuff, get into it, you know, it works and it's good. So you might see them around as well. Just feel free to ask any questions, and I will be, I think tomorrow is a recorded call, but I can't remember if I'm in live or not, but the team will let you know about that. But the call will be tomorrow. There'll be another call posted which will cover the A in magic. So yes, and well done to Carly in our team, by the way, who had a massive fear. She'd never ever gone live before, and she went live in this group for you guys and overcame one of her biggest fears. So a big well done for Carly for doing that for you guys. So listen, I hope you enjoyed it, whether you're watching it live or whether you're watching it on record. Not all the calls are going to be as long as this, but obviously I wanted to kind of lay the foundation and give you a little bit of background. Remember, you can go and watch my story Excuse my little emotional moment. But I just get really passionate and I get really into it. And obviously emotions sometimes bubble up, don't they? And it's just my passion. I just want to do what I can. This is my mission. I want to do what I can to help right now you, and then you can, that can, if I lift your vibration and then you share that with other people and that lifts theirs, and this wonderful knock-on, roll-on effect, just helping people feel better in these times. It's definitely my mission right now. So thank you for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And take care, guys, and we will see you soon. So remember, get meditating. Take care.